You know, my parents never downsized or purged. And the day that they left to move into the assisted living facility, my brother, my sister, Jody, our 6 kids, we were left with the burden of downsizing for them.
It was about the hardest thing we had to do. Think about it, making decisions on everything they accumulated. That experience really opened our eyes and gave us a real kick in the butt and told us that there was a real need to do this process for ourselves so our kids didn't have
Right.
to.
And while we spend a good portion of our life in the same house as we did, at some point, we decided, but at some point you might decide to downsize, either as the kids move out or just you want to relocate to a different place for a different lifestyle.
And for more than 4 decades, we both spent a lot of time accumulating what I call stuff and things.
You had more stuff though, and things, by the way. And your 3 daughters had tons of stuff.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
I can remember vividly taking a day off of work.
I don't remember this.
Yep. A vacation day in the summer.
Okay.
It was 138 degrees
Oh,
in
when
the
you did the
attic.
attic, yes,
And
yes.
I found all of your boys' stuff
You did.
tucked in corners full of mice.
Oh, that's right. But we
because
weren't.
they happened to leave granola
We
bars
didn't want
and
to talk
everything.
about that today.
Oh,
But anyway.
okay.
Yeah, so I brought it up, so now I'm in trouble.
Of course.
But anyway, we
But
accumulated all this
we
stuff.
did. And we would do annual purges, and we would ask the kids to do annual purges that would help us, give things away and donate and,
Yeah.
be helpful in the community. But we still ended up with a lot of stuff.
We did. And when you and I sat down, and I was pushing this more than you were.
Definitely.
Pushing. When we sat down to discuss this, downsizing, it was difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. And at times, we just agreed not to talk about it, which I don't know if that was a good thing, but it was good to step away from the conversation.
Well, we definitely weren't on the same page.
No.
And we didn't have the same timeline.
No.
And then once we kind of broke the seal and started talking to the kids about it,
Right.
we started getting various opinions.
Sure.
And then, we started talking about not downsizing, but really
Right.
right-sizing.
Right. And I remember, I would call it our big aha moment. We had this great home with an outdoor patio that was covered, and we had an open fireplace. And we're sitting out one morning, Jody and I, with her brother Michael, having coffee. And he brought the topic up. He was looking at the backyard, and he said, "Oh my gosh, it's so great that you guys are thinking about selling this house so that another family with young kids can come in and take advantage of the school system." And we looked at each other, and I thought, oh my God, I never even thought of it that way.
It was definitely a way that we reframed downsizing from
yeah.
what I felt was negative connotation.
Right.
Us moving out, us having to go through all the process of purging, us having to explain to the kids, do you have a room? Do you not have
Right,
a room when
right,
you come
right.
back from college, and all those things. But the way Michael framed it felt so positive and gave us such a leap.
It did.
That we went for it.
And we talked about that for probably a month, and it really started our process. And the process that we did, we just began, we got pen to paper and started writing a lot of things down.
Yeah, we started writing things down, and sometimes we'd write things that conflicted.
Right.
Like the time frame. Mark would say, okay, let's do this by June 1st, and I'd be like, I'm thinking January 1st. But we'd write them both down.
Right.
So that we had kind of a log of how we were going to do it with
How we were feeling.
Right. And no predetermined outcome,
No.
And then we decided very clearly, and I think this is really important, that there was going to be no lobbying with other parties. So other interested parties
Like the kids.
or, my mom and my dad,
Yeah.
they were still alive, and,
Yeah.
so there was going to be no outside lobbying. And I think that really helped
It
us.
did.
Yeah.
The mother-in-law situation and all that, it didn't come into play.
Yeah.
It's our home. It's our decision. We had to figure it out. But we also established some ground rules. And, we agreed to listen to each other, really listen. We agreed to use empathy. And we agreed to express our feelings and write them down so that our feelings were heard.
We also agreed to walk away from it if we were finding that it was becoming heated. And I
How many
think
times did
that
we walk
was
away from it?
Probably 6 or 7.
At least.
So anyway, the first step, so if we really break this down into steps that would be helpful to you, the first step would be taking stock of your situation. You know, is selling your home going to be part of the equation?
Right.
Are you looking to move locations, buy a similar house, buy a downsized townhouse or condo? And are you looking to stay in the same area?
Yeah.
And then maybe buy a smaller home and a second home
And
somewhere.
some people want a larger home. Listen, there's plenty of
do.
people that retire and they get an influx of money. Now it's time to buy that large 5-bedroom home, 5-bath home, so all the kids can come. And every time they come, they have their own place to stay. You and your partner have to figure that out. So that's the discussion that takes place in the beginning.
And then once we got the place that we decide that we are going to sell the home, we start to do an evaluation of our current home.
Yeah, and this was really good. I want to
Yeah.
emphasize this because this is important. I want you guys to write this down because we thought of this and we spent all of this time breaking down
what we loved about the home.
everything we loved about the
Right.
house.
And then also things that we didn't like about the home that we
Right.
didn't want to find perhaps in our next home.
Right. And we made, I think we made a must-have list. I can't remember,
Yeah.
but there's things like location and geography. Where do we want the next home to be? What about the community? Do we want a college town? Do we want a city? Do we want a rural out in the country? What characteristics are important in the house? Number of bedrooms? Do we want an outdoor fire pit? And the other thing is memories. This helped us a lot, right? Because we did reflect on the memories in the old house,
Right.
but then we started to dream of what kind of memories can we have in this new house?
Right. And it really helped us to understand that we were packing the memories and taking them with us.
Right.
They weren't part of the old
No.
house. They weren't being left in the house that we were selling. We were bringing them with us.
Yeah, we still talk about them. That great Thanksgiving meal when we had a tent in the backyard and we had 50 people over the house.
Right.
That's never going to go away. We don't have to own that house to have that memory.
Right. The second thing that we did was we started to really set our priorities on where we were going to move to. Like Mark said earlier, we did a list of must-haves. And the must-haves we first didn't agree on, and then we started to make some concessions. And then, by nature of looking for property or looking for a new place to live, our must-haves kind of changed to wish lists or must-haves.
And we went through this process 7 years ago when we bought the home we're living in now in Connecticut. We still live down in New York, and we bought a second home, and it was location and geography. We wanted to walk to town, which we have, home characteristics. This house we live in now sleeps 16, but there's only 3 bedrooms. So we have pull-out couches, all these areas for the kids. We wanted easy care and upkeep. And then again, what new memories can we create in this new home? And we created some great ones already.
Right. So, and we didn't get everything on that list with this house because easy care and update. I mean, we purchased a house that was over 300
That's
years
true.
old.
That's true.
So, easy care and update, question mark on that one.
So we were flexible.
We were.
Yeah.
We were.
Yeah.
We found flexibility. I don't
We
think
did.
we started there.
No.
But we opted for a staged approach. We had a second home, which is our home in Connecticut. We had bought it 5 years ago. We opted to sell our house in New York. And as an interim step, we rented a 3-bedroom townhouse in our town where we sold our house in New York because we still had 2 girls that were finishing up college, weren't
Right.
sure where they were going to get jobs. And the last thing you want to say to your family or loved one is, we moved, there's no place for you.
But here's the thing. We rented this townhouse for 2 years. Jody and I were spending half the time down there and half the time up here. The girls started to prefer to come visit us here versus in New York. So at the end of the 2-year lease, it became really clear we didn't need that house anymore. So when the lease was up, we moved out and moved whatever we had. We purged again.
Right.
And brought everything up here.
Yeah, so I think it's important to note, downsizing wasn't easy for us, and we took interim steps
Right.
with, a townhouse and with storage units
Right.
and trying to continue the purging event.
Right. So with all that behind you, you need to make an action plan. And we did. And there's so many things that you need, so many steps, and it can be immobilizing. It's just can be so stressful. But you have to make a list and keep plowing through it. And like Jody said before, if you need to take a break, you take a break.
You know, if you make some agreements in the beginning and really stay true to them with intention, it really does help. You
Yeah.
know, begin with your extensive to-do list, call a realtor, talk about selling your house, finding a new one. If you're relocating, call a local realtor in that area.
Right, that's important.
We
Yeah.
did. We found that to be very important. That really helped us with community selection.
And again, we went through this, but set priorities for the new home, your must-haves, and some
Right.
things that are okay, and just start moving forward in the process.
And you know, it's funny, the downsizing of your belongings, so
That's-
of the stuff and things. I thought it was really hard, you know, to do that for your parents, you know, because we didn't have emotional ties and we're trying to make calls on whether this picture makes more sense than that picture.
Right.
But it's really hard when it's your stuff.
Each thing you pick up, oh my God, my mom gave this to me when I
Right.
was 10. Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
I know.
But it was hard.
Or for the kids, you know, we had to kind of draw a line in the sand with some of the kids and say, you know, if you want these 7 boxes that are yours,
Yeah.
you have till this date to get them. Otherwise, you know, we're going to have to go through and decide what you
and then
want.
even the harder part is the kids say, I don't want it.
I
I'm like,
know.
you don't want all your artwork from kindergarten? How am I going to throw that out?
Right.
So it's hard. There's not an easy way out. There just is not. You have to be diligent for sure.
But with the stuff and things, you know, we decided to do one room at a time.
Right, and that worked really well.
It did.
Took us
because,
months, but it was a good process to go through.
you know, but it did focus us on that one room, so we didn't feel that overwhelming.
There was that time in the attic that I was up there when you were at work, or do I have that backwards?
Yeah, you have that completely
So
backwards.
Jody completely cleared out the attic one day. It was 105 degrees up there.
terrible.
And we even forgot we had stuff in the attic. But we did that. We did the kids' rooms first.
We did.
And we did store some things for them and just worked our way around the house.
And then we gave away a lot,
We
which
did.
To various organizations in your community, especially these days, they could really use it. So we organized bags by, you know, women's clothes, women's
Right.
shoes, men's clothes, men's sweaters, and the local charities were super excited to get them.
And I would say that this is an ongoing process. We still can do more purging here.
We can.
It's hard, but you know, sometimes I think this coming Sunday it's going to rain and we're going to purge. So
didn't
it
sign up for
simplifies.
that.
Well, yes, you did.
I did not sign up for that.
It simplifies your life, and it gives you room to dream of more. You know, we've made a lot of changes in the last 5 years, and we're living a great life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we love our new community. We still have ties to our old community. You know, it's kind of like those friends that, you know, never leave you. And now they have a place to come and visit, which is really fun.
And we've done really well socially. We've joined a local club. We know a lot of the shopkeepers. So we really, really enjoy what's going on up here in Connecticut.
So if you enjoyed this, please share it with your friends. You know, subscribe to the channel by
Subscribe
hitting the button
button, yeah,
below,
yep.
and join our free Facebook group. We've got a great Facebook engaged community, and we'd love to have you join. The link is also in the notes.
So thank you for listening, and we look forward to being with you again.